Germany's political parties have been making their final pitches to voters before Sunday's national elections. Migration and violent crimes linked to migrants have been key issues. Chancellor Olaf Scholz has told supporters he's confident he'll keep his job, even though his Social Democrat Party trails in the polls behind the Conservatives and the anti-immigrant far-right AfD. The Conservative CDU leader Friedrich Merz, who's widely tipped to become Germany's next Chancellor, closed out his campaign by pledging to be a strong voice here in Europe. Let's bring in DW's chief political editor, Michaela Küffner, at the final rally of the Conservative CDU-CSU bloc. Michaela, so CDU leader Friedrich Merz has addressed supporters. What did he have to say?
Yes, he spoke on that geostrategic issue. He is also a former EU MP, and he said that Germany would be taking a leading role again, bringing together neighbouring countries, France, Poland, for instance, for Europe to have a much stronger voice. He warned that if Europe appeared as a dwarf in the United States, it would come back as such. And he already set the tone on what would be a priority after these elections, that Germany would have to spend a lot more on defence. It needs to be ready to defend itself so it doesn't have to. That's what the message he had here. And he, of course, also doubled down on his anti-migration stance. He wants to limit migration once again. And he actually got a lot of reactions from the crowds here when he once again came out against anti-Semitism. That got resounding applause here in the audience because, of course, that's on everybody's minds after this attack that happened in Berlin.
Now, Michaela, the Conservatives are leading in the polls, but the populist Alternative for Germany, or AfD, is second. How concerned is the CDU, the Conservatives, about this challenge from the far right?
It's very concerned. Friedrich Merz got a lot of flack for accepting votes from the far-right AfD in one of the final sessions of Parliament to get, for the first time, a majority with the help of AfD votes across the finish line for a non-binding motion. That sparked huge criticism that the CDU might be open for cooperation with the AfD, that it wouldn't stand with its firewall. Now, Friedrich Merz has, wherever he appeared, adamantly denied that. He says he absolutely rules out taking AfD votes to get a majority to get elected, to take any kind of agreement or any kind of cooperation factored in post-elections. But what's also true, of course, is that he will potentially face a very complicated process of actually forming a coalition. The race is on between the Social Democrats of current Chancellor Olaf Scholz and the Greens for second place and the most likely coalition partner. And if several small parties make it past the 5% threshold, that could complicate the formula. Then 3 parties may be needed. So very tricky one potentially here.
Right, let's talk about that a little bit more. It's looking like Friedrich Merz will be Germany's next Chancellor, but can anything get in the way of that at this point?
Well, look, he doesn't get elected in these elections, technically. He gets elected when Parliament gathers for the first time and then itself elects a Chancellor. So, yes, there are potential hurdles. The prices could go up to get into a coalition with Friedrich Merz if it becomes apparent that he desperately needs more than one coalition partner. If you can't get that competition to get back into government going between the Social Democrats and the Greens. So everybody will be looking very closely at every percentage point because it really does matter, not just for those parties like the BSV, which is a mixture of left and right policies, but also the pro-business Free Democrats, that question whether they actually make it into Parliament. If they make it, they are changing the equation. So this will be a very tight race in many respects on Sunday.
Thanks for that, Michaela. DW Chief Political Editor Michaela Küffner there.